Hi, this is Linda Shea with Drilling Contractor. I'm at the 2023 IADC SPE, MPD, and UBO conference in Denver. I have with me Roberto Obando, who is Principal Engineer with Equinor. Roberto, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So you were on the panel session yesterday, and you talked about how some people still get nervous when using MPD. So why is that, and how do you think we should change that mindset?
Right, yes, that's something that we have seen in our, we have multiple jobs going on in MPD in Norway. We are the biggest users of MPD there. And we started realizing that there was something happening with the people, that they get really nervous about really conventional operations, and I always use this example about managed pressure cementing. People get extremely nervous and they think is this a complicated operation? Well, in reality, it's just a displacement. There's nothing different about it. So we realized something was wrong, that we're not really communicating this message, because MPD should be doing things easier, safer. But if the people that are doing the work are getting nervous because of MPD, then we see the result in incidents. So that way we are trying to change that mindset. We're trying to communicate internally in the company and outside the company that MPD, it's simple. It's a technology that is simple, and we are the ones who have the responsibility to communicate that to the people so that we have safer operations and we avoid human error incidents, which we know happens when people are thinking they are dealing with something that is extra complicated. So we are really adamant in changing the mindset in Equinor.
Another thing you mentioned that you recently started a standardization project. So can you tell us a little more about what that project entails and what you hope to achieve?
Yes, of course. This is something that we're really proud of. We started it in 2020, and it was with our fields in the HPHT department, which is Gudrun, Martinlinga, Kvitbjørn, and Balmon. All of them use MPD with high depletions and really complicated wells. So we're not talking about easy wells here. We're talking about, under balances of 100 bars plus, 60 bars, 80 bars. So we realized, we need to do something to standardize MPD, because we need to have simple procedures, standards, so that you can really jump from one field to the other. And you really do not have to be concerned on which MPD provider you're using, because in the end, MPD is doing the same things. So we have removed a lot of this noise around MPD, simplified procedures, simplified documentation, so that people is just right to the point. And I will give you a perfect example. Well control manuals. Our MPD well control manual for all these fields are 30 pages long. That's it. It's not 150 pages like usually is what is used in the industry. So what we see is that if you give the guys offshore, which is the people that are doing these jobs, not us in the office, and if you give them a 30-page well control manual, they will read it. And they will understand it, and they will use it. The same with procedures. We limit our procedures to one page. If somebody comes to us with a procedure that is more than one page, we tell them there's something wrong with the procedure. It has to fit in one page. We call them one-pagers. And it has been extremely well received by the people offshore, and not only in one project, in 4 projects simultaneously with different rig contractors and different MPD providers. So we know this is the way forward, and we are very happy that we're doing this. And to finalize this topic, it's not only in Norway that we're doing this. In the summer, we had one of our drill ships that is going to be drilling in Brazil, adapting the same concept. So we know that this goes across the borders. It's not only in Norway that it will work internationally. So it's really important for us that people working with us, rig contractors and MPD service providers, that they understand what we want to do. We want to go simpler. We don't want to go complicated. We want to do every time simpler and simpler and simpler, so that MPD eventually will become like a cement pump on board or a top drive. It's advanced equipment, but everybody knows how to use it. There's procedures established for it, and it's standard, simple, and easy.
Now, you just mentioned working with your rig contractors. And one thing you mentioned yesterday also was that you need to form partnerships with these contractors and bring them to the table, make decisions together. So why do you see these partnerships as being so important? And what do you see as the challenges to forming this type of partnership?
Right, excellent question. So yeah, that is the most important thing about this standardization process and the way we want to go. So I want to start saying that all our MPD jobs, we do not have the MPD provider under us anymore. Is the rig that has the MPD. So in our tenders, we ask for an MPD ready rig. The difference with us though is that if you come to us and say, I have an MPD ready rig, we will really hold you into that. We will require you to have the expertise. We will require you to have the knowledge. It's not just about bringing the equipment, the hardware, and then just leave us to speak with your MPD provider. We will actually bring you to the table as a real partner, right? That's what we think as a real partnership. You are concerned about the well, you're concerned about the risk, you are as invested as us to have the critical equipment on board, the personnel with the right competence, because ultimately your rig is going to go on downtime if the MPD fails. So then all of a sudden this has changed the dynamic completely. Before, if the MPD system will fail, the rig will just go on doing maintenance, using that rig time, saying, oh, right now is our chance to do this. Not anymore, because now the whole rig goes on downtime. So that makes them as interested as us to have perfect systems with MPD. So, of course, and you're mentioning challenges. Yes, it is a challenge. Of course, everything that is new is always going to be a challenge. But we believe in this, and we are confident that we're going to make it happen. And we see it that is happening, right? We have now all these fields are running this model. And yes, in the beginning, it was a bit change for them. Rig contractors are not used to this. But they quickly realized that they needed to hire the competency, right? They realized very quickly that we were not going to do the job for them, right? So it was a bit like we really had to be strict, but eventually the rig contractors realized that this is the way, the future, with us at least, and they embraced it. So they have delivered really good wells, and it's really nice for us to see how they change their mindset. All of a sudden they say, yes, we are actually responsible for this. We need to have this. We need to do this. And they come to us and suggest, and you see that they are so invested, and that's really good to see. And that's what we want to achieve in all our jobs in the future.
Well, thank you, Roberto, and for sharing your insights into Equinor's strategy and approach to MPD. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us on drillingcontractor.org.